Hi, everybody. This is Carolyn Speaks, the State of Our World, on Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020. So, how is it? Well, the coronavirus is still with us. People are still getting sick from the virus, and people are still dying from the virus. And yet, there's still no national unified response to the virus in terms of making sure that everyone has the personal protective equipment needed, that there's enough ventilators and respirators, that there are enough tests for everyone to see if you have the virus, and if you do have the virus, trace your contacts and get you treatment, get any of your contacts that have the virus, get them treatment, trace their contacts, and so on and so forth. It is not happening on national level. It's happening in individual states, so we do not have a national response. Also, there are tests to see if you've had the virus. You might have created antibodies that can be used to help someone who is fighting the virus. Again, not on a national level, just on a state level. Now, in addition to that, the coronavirus task force that Trump created seems to be fading away for some reason. I don't know, but that's the way it is. The coronavirus task force is kind of like faded into the background a little bit, but we don't really know what's happening with that. Not the time to end the task force. We still need it. Now, there are some other things that are happening. North Carolina was a state selected by the Republicans for the nominating convention for the Republican presidency, and North Carolina governor has refused to say if they could have a full-blown convention because of the coronavirus. He is limiting meetings to no more than 10 people, so Trump and the Republican Party have decided to pull the convention out of North Carolina and send it to another state. So they want to make another state citizen sick, because North Carolina did the right thing. So, alright, so that's one thing that's happening at the convention. Now, the other night, Trump was at the White House, and there were a lot of protesters, and his team put him into a bunker. He and his family placed in a bunker for safety. And after, when he came out of the bunker, he decided he wanted to go across the street, go to Lafayette Park, and go to a church and make a statement. But in order for him to go across the street, he told the police, the National Guard, whoever was there in Washington, to clear the street so he could cross the street. So what they did is they attacked peaceful protesters with pepper spray, and they did clear the street all right. And then Trump walked across the street to a church holding a Bible and made some kind of a speech. Very strange behavior. He was perfectly capable to cross the street with the crowds there, but he chose to use a forceful method to move the crowd so he would have a path to the church. And that is a People's Park, Lafayette Park, but he decided to do it his way. Well, you know the song, I did it my way. Well, he did it his way. Now, other things happening. Protests have continued in spite of Trump's efforts to ban protests and use police and National Guard and others to keep people from protesting, pepper spraying people. Trump made a tweet about a man in Ohio who was at a protest and said this man is an anarchist. Now the man is getting death threats. The power of the tweet. Now, that is very unfortunate that these things happen, but they do. And you definitely do have a right to protest, but you do not have a right to be violent or to destroy property. You can protest, you can walk, you can march, you can talk, but you can't destroy property and you can't be violent. Now, the all right. So that's one thing. One of the things that happen. Some of the things. Takes over a neighborhood. Now, there were rumors that an Antifa group was taking over a suburban neighborhood. Well, it's totally not true. False Antifa rumors about a suburban invasion take over neighborhood social media apps. Very strange. Antifa means anti-fascist. There's nothing wrong with being anti-fascist, but you have to do it just in a civilized way. And there is a white nationalist group that is posing as an Antifa group and promoting violence on Twitter. This is something the FBI has picked up, and the Twitter suspended the account of the person or persons who were pretending to be an Antifa group. Now, because of all the unrest and all the uncertainty, Twitter did the right thing. Now, so Trump went to a church for a photo opportunity, and his Secretary of Defense, Mr. Esper, said he thought that he was going to give a speech. No speech, just a picture. Just an opportunity to take a picture. So, evidently Trump does not like people to protest. He's using the local police, the National Guard, as a weapon against the protesters. Without warning, they're spraying the protesters with pepper spray for no reason, but they're doing that. So it's very sad, but that's the way it is in the world today. We have radical groups on the right, we have radical groups on the left. But unfortunately, the media is choosing to focus on radical left groups rather than radical right groups. I guess that's part of Trump's plan. Now, we have riots and protests going on all over the country. We have police interfering or helping in various ways. Not a very good situation. The coronavirus is still there, and if you protest with a group of people, you could end up getting the virus or spreading the virus to someone else. So very dangerous to be in these large protests. So what do we do about this? Well, one thing you can do is to contact your U.S. senator in Washington, senators in Washington, your representatives in the U.S. House, your local politicians and leaders, and say you really don't support this violence, but you think it's necessary for people to protest. We also need to get rid of this virus. We need social distancing, and let's not forget the vulnerable groups that are vulnerable to this virus, those living in retirement homes, assisted living homes, veterans homes, various shelters, people who are homeless, and then the farm workers who they risk their lives every time they go out to work on the farm, travel to the farm, live with fellow farm workers. So that's that's a problem. Also, we have the meatpacking industry, where very easy to spread the virus, and it has spread there a lot. And we have also first line responders, police, fire, healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, and we have grocery store workers, and we have truck drivers and delivery people, and all kinds of people who are working very hard to stay safe and also provide the services and products you need. So su- support them and give them a shout out. All right, now we need to conquer this virus, so we need to continue to shelter in place. We need to practice social distancing so we're all safe. Alright, now, I made 2 attempts a few days ago to sing a song that I wrote called Jenny, about my great aunt Jenny. Maybe I'm going to give it another try this evening. Okay. Jenny, 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 she crossed the sea from Hungary with her family. Jenny was a widow with 5 children. She decided to go to America. Jenny and her family settled in New Jersey. The kids went to school and later to work. To save their money when they had enough, they sent poor Frances, Jenny's sister, who was still in Hungary. Frances, the widow, had 4 young children of her own when she set out to join Jenny in America. Jenny, 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 she crossed the sea from Hungary with her family. France. The year was 1920, and they traveled overland from Hungary to a seaport. They traveled in a ship across the Atlantic in the lowest class. When they got to America, they were processed to Ellis Island as immigrants. After they were admitted for entry, and Jenny and her family took them to her home in New Jersey. There they would live with Jenny and her family for quite a while. Frances was a seamstress, so she took in sewing to support her family. The kids became young adults. They wanted to live in the big city. Frances agreed to the move, and off they went to the island of Manhattan in New York City. They lived in a walk-up apartment and shared a bathroom in the hall with the other tenants. At first the kids thought it was great to live in the city, but later missed the country living in New Jersey. Jenny, 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 she crossed the sea from Hungary with her family. Okay, I don't know if you caught that, but in my song I said the year was 1920 and they traveled overland from Hungary to a seaport. So 1920 was the year my grandmother, Frances, set out from Hungary to be with her sister Jenny in New Jersey, in America. I don't know the exact date when my great aunt Jenny came over with her kids. So anyway, we've been here for a long time, and we definitely appreciate our heritage and our legacy. So, hope you enjoyed the song. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you all back here again tomorrow evening for another meeting with Carol Ann Speaks, The State of Her World. Remember, kindness goes a long way. Kindness goes a very long way. So be kind and take care of yourself and take care of others. Thank you very much. Good night, all.